Okay, welcome everybody to the November 2023 City Planning Commission meeting. I'd like to call to order Mark Klecker, Chair, here. Rich.
Here.
Jason.
Here.
Tony.
Present.
Present. And Colin.
Present via Zoom.
Okay. Everybody read the minutes that we just got? September minutes? Any questions? Anybody have any problems?
I'll move to approve.
Okay,
As
I need a
distributed.
second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, all right. Waterfront conditional use application. Sure.
Oh, okay. Wasn't sure.
Well, I didn't know if he was going to say something first, but
Yeah, that's why I asked. Should I come up?
come on up.
Okay. Hey, folks. Good afternoon. I'm Del Birch at 209 Parade Street in Erie. Thank you for coming out on a day like this. And it's Colin and Tony's on the Zoom.
Yes.
They're supposed to be.
Hey, thanks, folks. Hey, we're here today because I am planning on building a 576 square foot addition to my other property at 314, 316 East 2nd. Although I've lived at my address at 209 Parade Street for the past 30 years since I returned to Erie, my goal is to make 314, 316 East 2nd my primary residence as I get older and I try to simplify my life, and I will then sell 209 Parade Street. And the idea is I need more space than the apartment currently provides, so we need to make a fairly significant investment in that addition, which will be a new entrance on the east side of the house. At the rear, a bedroom with an ensuite, extra storage, a room for the cats, because cats are really actually quite messy in their litter box room, so I need a dedicated room for them. And then making the existing kitchen at that house or that apartment bigger. So that's the whole idea. I am working with Leon Construction, is doing the construction. Jeff Holes was the architect. He did all the renderings. Reeves will be the plumbing, and Regal will be the electrician on this project. We plan to break ground in the spring after we get through the waterfront residential review process.
All right. Anybody have any questions for him?
Nope.
No.
I'll note that the Design Review Committee held a hearing and reviewed it. There were minor questions, but nothing significant, and unanimously approved or recommended approval.
All right. Well, I would like a motion then to approve this.
I'll make a motion.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There you go.
That's it? That
Yep.
simple? Hey, thank you very much.
You betcha.
Particularly
Nice
for coming
meeting you.
out on a day like today. So,
All right. Planning and Neighborhood Resources Activity Updates.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I am just kind of going off my original update here. For those of you that don't have it in front of you, I'll just run down. Michael Baker International, we're still working with that consulting group. They're primarily focused on the Historic Preservation Grant and Historic Review Commission at this moment. We do not have anyone in that position at this moment for Historic Preservation Planner, but the job has been posted, and we have yet to really have a qualified candidate apply. So if you know someone who's interested in that position, please share the word. That Historic Preservation Grant is on hold. It's actually been canceled at this moment. And the Historic Preservation Plan is almost finalized. It's in its last kind of draft, and we've asked for some feedback and comments. We're going to have a survey posted to the public here soon, and then they'll finalize the plan and hopefully have a nice rollout with it. It looks really good. So the Comprehensive Rec, Park, and Open Space Plan, that RFP we hope to post in the next month or so. There's been a little bit of not a holdup, but DCNR is quite stringent upon the scope of work, and so we've been working with DCNR to finalize that RFP and then hope to post that soon. We do have a steering committee put together for that. We've had two. We posted a application online for 2 available spots for a community member, and we've received a lot of good feedback, actually. Safe Streets for All, that was the Department of Transportation grant that we have. That RFP closed on last Friday on the 17th, and I believe we had 5 proposals that were submitted. So that's great. We'll be looking through those, and then we hope to have a steering committee for that grant as well put together. The 12th Street Reimagine grant, that's $150,000. That's the land use and transportation study along 12th from Cherry to the Bayfront. We were working with our solicitors to kind of amend the county contract a little bit, and we finally got the contract back from the county after they approved our amended language, and then it was signed yesterday and I received it. So we'll be submitting that to the county. Well, I already submitted it electronically, but giving it to them, and hopefully that project will get started rather quickly because it's supposed to be completed, I think, by June, so we don't have a lot of time, which might be a good thing. So we'll get a lot of data and information back on that analysis. The Partners for Places grant, which is a $10,000 grant that was through this funders network. We've had this grant for some time now. We've had a lot of discussion about it. It's a small grant, but it's intended to then go out for a much larger grant for implementation money. Ultimately, well, the decision will be, really the decision of it will include the Environmental Advisory Council, which is a newly formed council at the city. And they meet next week on the 29th for their first time. And this is one of the, not on this agenda, but it will be something that will be on the agenda shortly to decide if in fact we're going to go forward with this grant. It's really an engagement piece. And if they decide to, how are they going to decide how to use that grant? It really is an engagement for frontline communities, environmental justice areas, and how to engage those underserved populations into what hopefully would be a local climate action plan. Neighborhood plans, we have no update. Love Your Block. Love Your Block is, we met internally recently to talk about strategies in terms of different funding strategies we have kind of in the pike. We are waiting to hear back about a neighborhood, I think it's Neighborhood Action Plan grant, an NAP, I probably got that wrong, and also appropriations that we're still waiting to hear back. So it depends what kind of funding stream we have, but we're already discussing what our strategic plan would be for A, B, and C for this year coming up with Love Your Block, trying to also work with code enforcement a little bit more, and maybe the redevelopment authority, to have those 3 entities really working in unison together to be able to combat blight and vacant properties. East Bayfront Greenway Trail, that plan was finalized, and I just saw an email from Aaron Snippard that said that they'll be working in this upcoming year on implementation, and they'll be still acquiring land for the East Bayfront Trail, as well as other implementation strategies that they have in that plan. So that's great news. That moved pretty quickly. I talked a little bit about the historic preservation And then also, lastly, is the digital infrastructure. So that's the ESRI and the CityWorks rollout that we've been waiting for a long time. It's the schedule is set for a March rollout, which will mean that if we start rolling out the new software in March, it's going to take several months to get everybody transitioned and then also on board and trained. So we are giving ourselves about a June, hopefully June, not start date, but March to June to see that roll out. So do you have any questions, or did I miss something, or can I answer anything for you?
No?
No, we're good.
The only other thing I would mention is that this last week we went in front of council, presented the budget for the Planning and Neighborhood Resource Department, and hopefully it will pass. We asked for 2 additional property maintenance inspectors, so that would bring us up to 8 inspectors, which is how many we had in 2004. We also we'll be submitting a over $300,000 grant to the state for new vehicles for our inspectors and for the department as a whole. So that's due on November 30th, and that's something that I've heard has been a long time coming, because we really have some pretty poor condition vehicles, subpar condition. So we'll keep you posted on what will be the outcome of that. I do want to mention that in the budget, we were able to put in some flexibility in there for grants to be able to match if we go out for additional grant funding, which we hope to do that in the upcoming year, so that we have the flexibility to match, if a match is needed. So,
Gotcha.
excited.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, what were you talking about?
So, we would like to introduce, a couple of recommendations for modifications to our zoning code, instigated by one of our planning commission members, Mr. Spiker. Shared an article with us recently called "The 6 Zoning Reforms Every Municipality Should Adopt." Going through that, happily, we've already had one of them adopted, is having multifamily housing being legal in all commercial districts, so we don't need to pursue that one. Another one is kind of eliminate the red tape, kind of an objective, and having worked in several other municipalities in the region, I would tell you Erie doesn't have actually a lot of red tape. But so there's 4 other ones on the list that we'd like to discuss really quick and kind of get the ball rolling on. One of them is eliminating minimum parking requirements. The recommendation from Strong Towns is to eliminate parking requirements citywide for all uses. This is a very common trend. Approximately 50 cities in the last 3 years across the United States have done this. So I would like to make a motion.
Wait, explain it again. Explain it again.
Eliminate
what?
Eliminate minimum parking
Oh,
requirements.
minimum, okay.
So requiring you to have a minimum amount of parking on your property if you're going to develop it. So it'd be to your choice
Right.
as a landowner or developer, how much parking you need for your customers or your use.
Okay.
There's a depth of other reasons that we can discuss around, but I think what I'd like to make a motion on is to have the city review and examine best practices, which are pretty well established, for limiting minimum parking requirements, and then modifying our zoning to adopt such language. So I guess I'll make a motion in that regard.
I'd be happy to second it. I mean, I think that
Sure.
downtown particularly is overparked. A lot more taxable area that's dedicated to parking to the detriment of productive uses that would be better served repurposing it.
All right, then all in favor? Aye.
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 Okay.
Just make sure we got everybody online documented. The-
I know Jake is a bit shorthanded at this moment, but
Yeah.
I'm happy to,
Take some notes.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry?
Take notes?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
He said he's shorthanded.
He's
He said,
short-
"What, take notes?"
Well, he's short-staffed,
Yeah.
I guess I
Yeah.
should say. But, so I'm happy to have somebody, if that's okay, Jake, maybe the data analyst, or have someone take on to look at some of these best practices to assist you.
What were some of the other areas that, and I apologize, I still have not had a chance to look at that email.
Yeah, we're not saying you need to write the language today.
No,
Right.
We're
just
just
to
trying
look
to get
into
things
it.
moving.
No, but if, to look at those functional areas and say, hey, these are some things,
Yeah.
we want to compare the city's current ordinance to some of those best practice, kind of newer, updated practices, then we'll focus on those areas. There was a couple other ones other than the parking, right?
Right.
Yeah, I got three more. Legalizing accessory dwelling units. We do not have accessory dwelling units defined in our zoning code currently.
Right.
Accessory dwelling units are largely kind of as described. If you have a separate unit in the back of your house, could be a garage. There's a national trend for tiny homes. It allows flexibility in land use, provides potential income streams for residents. And I would propose that we look at adopting that for R2, R3, and RLB districts, avoiding any controversy in R1.
The accessory dwelling
out of the
units?
gate. We already have accessory structures listed in zoning. This is accessory dwelling units.
Yes, absolutely. Like taking a carriage house and putting an apartment above it.
Correct, and making it legal to live there.
Yeah, in-law apartments.
Yeah.
I mean, it's becoming more common.
Yeah.
And I had 2 calls today about it.
So we don't have the defined
Actually, one. He
in
called twice.
the zoning right now. It's not defined. So my motion
Right.
would be to look at defining accessory dwelling units, and then figuring out which districts are appropriate to
Right,
allow
Yep.
them.
Okay, I'll second that.
yeah.
All in
And that-
favor?
It comes up occasionally.
Aye.
Yep.
Aye.
Yep.
Third one is reducing or eliminating minimum lot size mandates. I think there'd be a lot of initial concern to totally eliminate lot size minimums, but providing flexibility in land use, I think it's kind of self-explanatory that eliminating minimum lot sizes will allow for greater flexibility for infill developments across the city. So that's kind of the objective with that one. So my motion would be to look at best practices, again, to reduce minimum lot size mandates.
I'll be happy to second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Fourth one is,
Catch up.
the fourth one's kind of like a splitting of hairs. The objective is to legalize home-based businesses. In our zoning code, we already define home occupations, which pretty much allows you to work in your own home, kind of like as the pandemic has required a lot of people to do. However, there are restrictions in that definition that do not allow for that home-based business to receive any customers. They're not allowed to post signs. They're not allowed to create sounds. And they're not allowed to create smells. So that would eliminate somebody from teaching music lessons in their home or having a home-based bakery. So we would like to look at best practices for redefining home-based businesses, potentially redefining our current definition of home occupations in our zoning code to provide flexibility in use groups R2 and R3 to allow residents to post small signs, create sounds and smells. And that is my motion.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's my.
Just the 4?
4, correct.
Okay.
Perfect.
Those are, and that came out of Strong Towns?
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
they're all from the article that I
Okay.
distributed.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
All right.
And I could go on forever.
Right. And it's,
I'm sorry.
and really it's looking at, you know, these are kind of newer strategies that a lot of kind of older ordinances, and this, you know, this ordinance is based on a 20-year-old ordinance, so, yeah.
And these ideas are
Certainly
being,
worth looking into.
yeah, these ideas are being promoted as recently tested and tried ideas, not
Yeah.
new, not like novel concepts.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, hey, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. My pleasure.
Any public comment? Don't have anybody here, so I need a motion to adjourn.
All motion?
Second?